Hi guys, a question that I see on the internet a lot is what violin shoulder rest should I buy? Or which violin shoulder rest is the best? And the answer to that is, well, it depends. It really depends on your body. There's no such thing as the best shoulder rest. Some people even like to go without it. If you have a long neck like me and you think you need something really tall in between your chin and shoulder here, I actually first suggest to look into buying a taller chin rest before you buy a taller shoulder rest. Now this is because for a chin rest, you want it to be fairly close to your chin when your head is straight, and then you should be able to just put your head down a little bit and your chin will be right there. So you don't want to bend your head too far down. And if you have a super tall shoulder rest that raises your violin really high, you don't want it to be raised so high that then the whole body of your violin is too high, right? You want your violin to be in a good playing position. And you also want your shoulder and your chin and everything to be as straight as possible. So chin as straight as possible, no weird turning side to side, just a slight bend down here. And you don't want your shoulders to be lopsided. You want them to be as nice and straight and relaxed as possible. If you have a really short neck, maybe you want a shorter chin rest and a shorter shoulder rest, or even no shoulder rest at all. It really just depends on what feels good for you. I have done some research on this topic because I've had some shoulder issues in the past related to violin, so I wanted to make sure I had the best setup as possible for my body in order to minimize those injuries. I did find one really good website on this topic, and I'll have that in the description below, as well as any other links that I think are really good. So with that being said, I am going to go through the various shoulder rests that I have and give you my thoughts on them. And I will talk about them from the cheapest shoulder rest to the most expensive. So first off is the sponge. So I used the sponge when I was a little kid. So what you do, this is my half-size violin, is you put it on here, and then you take an elastic band, and you wrap it around. Try to hold it so you can see. You wrap it around this edge of the violin, and around the chin rest there, and then on the back. Should look about that. And you can move around and adjust it as need be. So this is very good for beginners and for little kids who need a smaller sized violin, because they're going to grow up. They're going to eventually need a full-size violin. And if you buy a smaller shoulder rest, they're just going to grow out of it and you're going to have to buy another one. The one problem with sponges, though, is that sometimes they like to move around, so you have to fiddle with it a little bit. The other thing is they are really thin, so they're much better if you have a shorter neck. Next up is this shoulder rest. This is a no-name brand that came with this violin. It's an online violin, and I've gotten a few of them for my other violin review videos. So I think it's pretty common to come with those super, super cheap online violins that you see. So this one, it actually adjusts. You probably can't see. It says 4/4 to 1/8 size. So right now, how it's adjusted, it is on the 1/8 sizing. So to fit this half size, I would have to unscrew this and move the little leg over. So comes off like that, so be careful you don't lose pieces. And it is a bit stiff. So put it on, Put it here. I always start with this side, the chin rest side, and then the other, and then push it down. So see, it can adjust. So that's how it looks on the half size. And I think it's all right for a half size. But now let's see what it looks like on a full size violin. So here is what this little shoulder rest looks like on my violin. Now, my violin, it does have a bit of a wider body here. But as you can see, there is a lot of space on the edges where the foam does not cover, so that's not very good. And it also can't go down very low, so some people like to adjust it so the headers are high, others like lower. It really all depends on what feels good to you. But because I can't push this shoulder rest down lower, that does eliminate some customizability for me. And here is what it looks like up close this way. So if you do buy a super cheap online violin and get one of these shoulder rests with it, it's okay if you're getting a smaller size, but for a full size, it won't be that great. I suggest shopping around for a different one. And now, next on my list is the Coon. I have used this for many years throughout high school, middle school, and the beginning of university. And with the Coon, the arms adjust here by twisting them so it changes the height of the screws. And you can adjust them for a smaller sized violin by adjusting with these screws. And they're a lot better built than that other shoulder rest. Let's try the Coon on my violin. Let's put it on this way. Left side first, then right. Push it down, and you can move it to a different angle if you want. It's all up to you. There's no wrong or right way to put on a shoulder rest as long as you make sure that the curved part is on the left side. And you can see there's a big difference between the cheap shoulder rest. The foam is completely covering the violin from end to end. And let's hold it this way. So as you can see, with my violin on the Coon, I have the footers here adjusted to be the very tallest height, because as I said earlier in the video, I like a really tall shoulder rest, but it still is pretty short. So if you have a really long giraffe neck, still might not be the shoulder rest for you, but it can be adjusted to be much shorter, so it is good for people with shorter necks. Next is the Wolf Forte Primo. And this shoulder rest is a bit more ergonomic than the Coon because you can bend it here. It's very bendy. So you can change it to the shape of your shoulder, collarbone area. One difference, though, is you notice on the back here, the sizing for the shoulder rest cannot be adjusted. So for the Coon, you can adjust the legs inwards here to make it smaller, but for the Wolf Forte Primo, you cannot. I got this one because it is a bit taller than the Coon, so if I bring the legs down here, you see that the legs here are adjusted to the tallest setting, and same with the legs here. If you compare them, see that is a lot different here. This is definitely taller. You can see here is this clip to prevent it from moving any farther on the one side. But on this side, the leg just goes all the way around. And let's put the Wolf on my violin. Now, because these legs do like to turn a lot, it is a bit trickier to get them in place. So make sure you have a good grip on your violin when you do it. And then turn the body where it needs to be. Okay, there. So here's what it looks like. So the next shoulder rest on the list is the Musica shoulder rest. Now, this is the one that I currently use, and it is the most ergonomic and customizable one of all the shoulder rests that I have. And as you can see, it has this cool bend to it. So this, again, just like the Wolf shoulder rest, this one I can bend. I'm not going to do it now, of course, because it's already bent in the shape that I like. And it also has really tall headers here, so I can make it super tall. And you can adjust it on the inside here. So a lot of options for adjusting. One complaint that I heard about is this foam of the Bond Musica shoulder rest. It is pretty thin and it can wear down quickly over time, but I've seen that you can order replacements online, so that's good. So when I put this on my violin, curved side on the left, this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like sideways. And this way. So I really love this shoulder rest right now, but we'll see if I change my mind down the road. Who knows? I really like testing out new things for my violin. So those are some of my thoughts on the shoulder rests that I currently own and have tried right now. Let me know in the comments section what you think about these shoulder rests, or if you are using a different brand of shoulder rests and your thoughts on them. And as always, if you liked this video, do what every other YouTuber asks you to do. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.